Hello and welcome back to Kim Reads as we continue with Wicked, Chapter 8 of The Murder and Its Afterlife. The moon was up again, a little less swollen than the night before. The witch didn't trust herself to ride on the broom, so she meandered in a zigzaggy way across the greensward. She would have to find a place to nap outside the claustrophobia of a society den. She came upon the construction that Averick had taken about. It was an old, early TikTok thing. A sort of portable stupa made of carved wooden figures, too variegated and numerous for the witch to comprehend tonight. Perhaps there was a running board where she could rest underneath, a platform elevated just a couple of inches off the damaged ground. She peered and moved forward. "And where do you think you're going?" A Munchkinlander, no, a dwarf, stood in her way. He had cudgel in one hand and was thwacking into the thick leathery palm of the other hand. "Going to sleep where I can," she said. "So you're a dwarf, and this is the thing that Averick talked about." "The clock of the time dragon," he said. "Open for business tomorrow night, not until." "I'll be dead and gone by tomorrow night," she said. "No, you won't," he answered. "Well, gone, anyway." She looked at and strained up, and then something came back to her. "I wonder how you knew Yackle," she said. "Oh, Yackle," he said. "Who doesn't know Yackle?" Not a surprise. "Was she killed today?" said the witch, "by any chance?" "No chance," he said. "Who are you?" She was afraid suddenly after all the headlines of sorrow and violence. "Oh, the least significant little one," he said. "Who do you work for?" "Who haven't I worked for?" said the dwarf. "The devil is a very big angel, but a very little man. I have no name in the world, so don't bother with me." "I'm drunk and disorderly," she said, "and I cannot take any more riddles. I killed someone today. I can kill you too." "You didn't kill her. She was already dead," said the dwarf calmly. "And you can't kill me, for I'm immortal. But you have tried very hard at life, so I will tell you this. I am the guardian of the book. I was brought to the dreaded Forsaken Land to watch over the book's history, to keep it from back to where it came from. I am not good. I am not bad, but I am locked here, condemned to a deathless life, to guard the book. I don't care what happens to you or anyone else, but I protect the book. That is my charge." "The book?" She was struggling to understand. She felt drunker the more she heard. "What do you call the Grimmery? It has other names." "No matter." "Then why don't you take it? Why don't you have it?" "I don't work like that. I am a silent partner. I work through events. I work the sidelines. I dabble in cause and effect. Watch how the misbegotten creatures of this world live their lives. I interfere only to keep the book safe. To some extent, I can see what's coming, and to that extent, I meddle in affairs of men and beasts. He jigged just like a little fiend. You see me here. You see me there. Having a second sight is a great advantage in the security business. You work with Yackle. We sometimes have the same intentions, and sometimes we do not. Her interest seems different from mine." "Who is she? What is your interest? Why do you hover at the edges of my life?" "In the world I came from, there are guardian angels," said the dwarf. "But as far as I can work it out, she is opposite number, and her concern is you." "Why do I deserve such a fiend? Why is my life so plagued? Who positioned her to influence my life?" "There are things I don't know and things I do," said the dwarf. Who Yackle answers to, if anyone, if anything, is beyond my realm of knowledge or interest. "But why you must know this. For you," the dwarf spoke in a bright offhand tone, are neither this or that, or shall I say both this and that, both of Oz and the other world. Your old Frex was always wrong. You were never a punishment for his crimes. You are a half-breed. You are a new breed. You are a grafted limb. You are a dangerous anomaly. Always you were drawn to those creatures, the broken and reassembled, for that is what you are. Can you be so dull that you have not figured that out?" "Show me something," she said. "I do not know what you mean. Show me something the world hasn't shown me yet." "For you, a pleasure." He disappeared, and there was a sound of mechanical parts being wound up against one another. the grind of lubricated gears, the slap of leather belts, the chuck-chuck of pendulum swinging. A private audience with the time dragon itself. At the top, a beast prowled, flexing its wings in the dance of gestures, both bidding and welcome holding at bay. The witch stared. A small area halfway up was illuminated. A 3-act play came the voice of a dwarf from deep within. Act 1, The Birth of Holiness. Later she could not have said how she knew what it was, but she saw, in abbreviated pantomime, was the life of Saint Elphaba. The good woman, the mystic and recluse who disappeared to pray behind a waterfall. The witch who flinched to see the saint walk straight through the waterfall. A governing spore overhead drained real water out into a hidden tray below. She waited for the tick-tock saints to come out, but she didn't come, and eventually the lights went out. Act 2, The Birth of Evil. Wait, the saint didn't emerge as the tale says she did, said the witch. I want my money's worth, or not at all, please. Act 2, The Birth of Evil. Lights came up on another little stage. There was an incredible likeness of Cole and Grounds painted on the cardboard backdrop beyond. A figurine who was Melina kissed her parents goodbye and was off with Frex, a handsome little puppet with a short black beard and a jaunty step. They stopped in a small hut, and Frex kissed her and continued on to preach. All through the rest of the scene, she was off to one side, yammering her way to some peasants who were busy screwing each other on the ground before him, hacking each other to pieces, and eating their sexual parts, which ran with real gravy. You could smell the garlic and saute the mushrooms. Melina at home yawned and waited and teased her pretty hair. Along came a man with whom the witch could not identify at first. He had a small black bag, and from what he extracted a green glass bottle. He gave it to Melina to drink, and when she had fell into his arms, either stupefied or drunk, as the witch tonight, or liberated, it wasn't clear. The traveler and Melina made love in the same bouncy rhythm as Frex's parishioners. Frex started to dance to the rhythm itself. When the act of love was done, the traveler pulled himself off Melina. He snapped his fingers, and a balloon with a basket beneath descended from the fly space above. The traveler got in. It was the wizard. Oh, nonsense, said the witch. This is pure poppycock. The lights dimmed. The voice of the dwarf sounded from inside the contraption. Act 3, he said, The Marriage of the Sacred and the Wicked. She waited, but no area was illuminated. No puppet moved. Well, she said. Well, what? He answered. Where's the end of the play? He stuck his head out of a dark door and winked at her. Who said the end was written yet? He answered and slammed the door shut. Another door opened just as the witch's hand in a tray slid out. Lying on it was an oval-looking glass, cracking one side, scratching on its surfaces. It looks like the glass she had since childhood, the one she used to imagine she could see the other land in, back when she believed in such a thing. The last she remembered of the old glass was in her hideaway digs in the Emerald City. Inside the glass lived reflections of a young and beautiful Fiero and a young impression Fae. The witch took a mirror and hid it in her apron and wandered away. There was nothing in the morning papers about the death of Madame Morrible. The witch, with a treacherous headache, decided that she could wait no longer. Either Eric and his beastly companions would spread rumors or they wouldn't. There was nothing left to be done. Just let the word get to the wizard, though, said the witch to herself. I would like to be a fly on the wall of his bunker when that happens. Let him think I killed her. Let them be how the news goes. And that's the end of that chapter. See you later.